na bunch.
Let's do it right. Tushinde ndani na nje ya pitch.
Tusichome game.
Tusichome game.
Tusichome game.
Tusichome game.
Tusichome game.
I never heard the music so sweet. I repeat.
Wagwan, me brethren, big things are going. Remember, each and every Monday we have to shell down the place with nothing but the best of smooth reggae vibes in your favorite station. You know these things, man.
Alafu kila Tuesday, kata simu tupo side giving you Kenyan music from the 254.
And of course, you can spice up your Wednesday by enjoying blazing hot hip-hop and R&B jams.
We don't got no label. She say she want bottles.
Vibes and vibes as we go all across Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, all the way to Tanzania to give you nothing but the best on Afro Thursday. Make sure you make a date with us each and every single Friday with me, DJ_Liza Diva,
DJ Colda,
And me, Wanjiko. This is Club One Extra.
Unanifanya nisikie kunyongwa. Hadija ai, mani especially ukisonga.
The film Silent Bruises follows Lenny, a young man grappling with unemployment, alcoholism, and the crushing weight of societal expectations. His unresolved frustrations and emotional suppression eventually erupt into tragedy, costing him his wife and landing him in prison.
There's a no-go zone right now. This is between me and you.
We started the process last year, 2024, in around October, when the GBV and femicide cases were really high here in Kenya and also all over the world, yeah? So every day you wake up, there's new story on GBV, new story on femicide. So that's when the idea came to mind, and I called the director. His name is Zacchaeus Mercy, and I told him, I want us to do a short film on gender-based violence.
Don't you ever think that way.
The film stars Samson as Lenny and the late Alicia Wairimo as Lisa.
When I was writing the script, I had an idea of a character in nataka. Like, I had somebody, when I showed the producer, like, this character, nataka mtu anaweza do this kind of a thing, like this lady. So lipomonesha, then now we went through the script, can notice there are some things they can't do. So we had to go and now do the shortlisting first. So we picked a few when we know, and then we sent them some lines and asked them to audition. Then Walporivert, now we picked one from that.
Zacchaeus Mercy, the film director, talks about the challenges the crew faced to bring the film to completion.
Before shooting, we did rec it to locations. We have a whole location up where prison. So prison kumbe, you can't just get into prison and shoot. There's a whole process of it. So we didn't manage to get prison that time. So tulitafuta best yetu fulani mwenye akona place in aka prison. Yeah, then tukatengeneza ikafit what we want. And then again we needed a hospital and an ambulance kwa hiyo set. Getting hospital na ambulance to shoot ni a whole process, because unaona sasa kuna wagonjwa hapo, consent and everything. So you needed a room ya hosi yenye ni private, so that our patient ako peke yake kwa hiyo room, then na ambulance. So kupata hizi vitu again ni a whole process, but yeah, through God tulipata mazi. So again, ni call too for filmmakers and people who are investing in film. Again, we need these locations as filmmakers.
Jana kwa kulipatia. Mwezi leo hujafanya hivyo.
Written over the course of a month after intense research, the film crew notes that the film is more than just a film. It is a conversation starter on the intersection of gender-based violence, mental health, and the often overlooked emotional burdens carried by men.
One, I want us to break the societal pressure where a man should do this and a woman should do this. Like, it is okay not to be okay for a man, and as a woman, mostly for men, it is okay for you not to be okay, and you can always talk.
Jacqueline Masharia for Cinemas and Theatre.
A very good morning to you. Thank you very much for watching KBC Channel 1. This is BizCheck. My name is Betty Kiptum, and Lucy Ann Wangeshi rather is my colleague on the sign language interpretation. She'll be coming to your screen in just a little bit. On this program, for the next 2 hours, we shall be having a conversation on cybersecurity, the state of cybersecurity in Kenya, and in the second hour, we shall be talking about the National Building Inspectorate and their role in safeguarding the built environment in Kenya. But first, we want to take you to the coast in Mombasa, where parliamentarians are having their retreat. Let's listen into the proceedings there.
The Commission and the Board of the National Assembly, and I'll ask them to rise once again. Sarah Kioko, Jeremiah Dombi, Dr. Muyundo Masinde, Arap Kirui, Mwendo Sheriff Sam, the man who goes to court all the time when the Speaker and others are sued, does a tremendous job. The lady who every member calls and loves, Ms. Kamoni. She's been running our constituency offices. We have today our Head of Administration Services, in Joint Services, Ms. Awinja. Thank you. Mr. Meikoki, Deputy Director of Finance, running mortgage and our finances. Ms. Vena Kama, Director of Legal Services and her team. Deputy Director in charge of research, Mr. Dr. Omoti. Thank you. Deputy Director in charge of Hansard. Director Peter Chemweno in charge of departmental committees. The indomitable Florence Atenyo Abonyo, Director of Audit and Appropriation and other general purpose committees. Have I forgotten any person? Yes. Oh, Chief Sergeant at Arms, Mr. Lekulo, and our head of catering, the ones who gives us food, Mr. Masonko, and the head of procurement, CPO. Honorable Speaker, that team has been offering tremendous support to the administrative side of the National Assembly. And we are also going to have a session with the Director General, Parliamentary Joint Services, Honorable Speaker, so that he can have an opportunity also to respond to questions relating to Bunge Tower, the challenges of the lifts, and anything that members would want to be responded to. Director General PJ, yes, you are here, Asante Sana, together with the Director Irongo of Finance and the lady who you will always call in the unfortunate event that you lose your seat, Ms. Wata. Ms. Wata will explain once again to you, matters relating to your pension. But we are also going to have an opportunity with her so that she can explain to you something we call the group personal accident cover, which is a cover that you have, but you rarely interact with it. You only get to know about it if anything bad happens. And the commission instructed that every time we have such sessions, we take members through it so that you know what is covered in it. So in a nutshell, Honorable Speaker, that is the program, and we look forward to fruitful engagement. Honorable Chairperson of the session, may I hand over the mic back to you. Thank you.
Let's have a better round of applause for our clerk. He has done very good climate setting on what to expect, and Mr. that have been put in the program are very critical. Liaison can confirm that they have been canvassed severally included in the program. So allow me, honorable members, to the Honorable Junet Mohammed, EGH, leader of the minority party. I'm not sure in this broad-based government. Everyone is majority. I hope so. So a round of applause for Honorable Junet Mohammed.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I am the Right Honorable Speaker, Dr. Moses Wetangula, and the Chair of the Parliamentary Service Commission, the Deputy Speaker, Madam Boss Sholei Gladys, Majority Leader, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, Deputy Majority and Minority Leaders, Chairpersons of committees, and my colleague members of Parliament and staff of Parliament, good morning. Mr. Speaker, it is my great pleasure first to welcome everyone to this important retreat of the House leadership. This gathering, Mr. Speaker, offers us a timely opportunity to reflect, strategize, and collectively chart the path forward as we guide the business of the National Assembly for the remainder of the fourth session. Mr. Speaker, what I wanted to say is that, Mr. Speaker, this is I want to thank you first for organizing this retreat that has been attended well by the leadership of Parliament, the chairpersons of the committees, their vice chairs, the leadership of KEWOPA, and senior members of the staff of the House, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there was no better time to call for this retreat that you've called for than now, because this is a time we are at the middle of the journey where we need to take stock where we have come from and where we are and where we want to go as Parliament. And Mr. Speaker, this is the leadership of Parliament. When you put the chairpersons, the vice chairs, and the leadership together, this is what forms the conclave of Parliament, Mr. Speaker. You may be the Pope, the archbishops here, and bishops, and imams, everyone is here, Mr. Speaker, who make decisions in Parliament. Because our Parliament structure operates on a committee system. So it is very important for us to come together and discuss what goes on and what we intend to achieve with the committees that we have put in place at the beginning of the session, Mr. Speaker, of this Parliament. Mr. Speaker, we are meeting at a time when many things are in the air. We are meeting at a time when everyone has an opinion, either in support of Parliament or against Parliament. So, Mr. Speaker, there is no better time than now for us to meet to discuss those issues. And Mr. Speaker, I looked at the program and I was requesting a change to the program where we need to have a closed-door session of chairs, vice chairs, and leadership as a conclave so that we can discuss a few issues that are very important to us as members of Parliament, so that we can either have a white smoke or a black smoke coming out of the chimney Then we move forward, Mr. Speaker. That was my request to you, to include that in the program, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, it is us who are seated here who will determine the destiny of our parliament. There are no other leaders that are going to come very soon. Only maybe 7 are away who will join us in December. But the leadership of parliament, Mr. Speaker, today is here that you lead as the speaker. Mr. Speaker, as you are aware, parliament, I said earlier, operates in form of committees, and we have done well, in my view, both on oversight committees and departmental committees. But there are a few issues that always come up. I was watching the other day a session of a committee. For example, I want to share with you my experience. And a minister appeared there, the CS, and the CS was asked a question by a member of a committee that how much money do you give as capitation to schools? The minister said we give 16,000 shillings per student. Then a committee member asked him, Mr. Speaker, I want Mr. Speaker to listen to me on this. Clerk, this is a very important issue. Can let the Speaker hear me? Mr. Speaker, I was saying I was watching a session of a committee in Parliament, which was live. A cabinet secretary appeared before a committee and he was asked a question. How much money do you give as capitation to schools, to children? He said we give 16,000 shillings per student. A member of the committee asked him, why are you not giving 22,000? That's what is the policy say. That's what the policy says. He asked him, but the budget was in Parliament. Why didn't you increase it to 22,000? I just kept quiet. I said, this man now, that is one under an uppercut. Because he said, the money was with you, the budget was with you, and the policy was with you. Why didn't you increase it from 16,000 to 22,000? I didn't have an answer, I just kept quiet. So those are the issues that I want us to discuss in the conclave. So that among other things that we think are important. Mr. Speaker, I also saw a situation where one of my committees, the ones in the minority, I saw my chairman, a very senior chairman, who said that contract has been terminated. I told him, Chairman, when have we gotten the powers to terminate government contracts? He told me, we shall talk, just wait. These people are misbehaving. So I told him, you're right, yeah, these people are misbehaving. So those are the issues that we are going to discuss in this parliament. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that Parliament as a whole has done very well. If you look at the number of bills that we have passed the last 2 years under your leadership, Mr. Speaker, those are bills that have changed the lives of Kenyans. Whether it is in the housing sector, whether it is healthcare, whether it is roads. Mr. Speaker, I think this parliament has been judged harshly because sometimes we could be the bogeymen or women of the politics of the country, Mr. Speaker. And people think that this is the best place to throw dirt whenever they are cornered. Mr. Speaker, among the bills that are before us is the Roads Maintenance Levy Fund Bill. Section 6 of the Kenya Roads Board Act is the financing keystone of the entire National Roads Program. Because of this, we must, as a House, prioritize the consideration of the Kenya Roads Amendment Bill 2025, sponsored by Honorable Peter Kaluma on behalf of the House Legislative Caucus. The bill seeks to cure the constitutional defect identified by the High Court and petition number E2423 of 2024, which held that Section 6 is unconstitutional for excluding county governments from the RMLF and faulted the prevailing road classification for undermining devolution. Apart from seeking to cure the constitutional defect, the bill introduces a new Section 47A in the Kenya Roads Act to clarify county responsibilities for maintenance, rehabilitation, and development of county roads within national standards and policies. This is the functional counterpart to the financing reform under Section 6 and is necessary to match funding with responsibility. Under the bill, each county is required to designate a competent roads department, open a special purpose account at the Central Bank of Kenya for RLMF transfers, and submit an annual roads program to the board at least 6 months before the financial year, with the board empowered to monitor, evaluate, and take remedial measures. The bill proposes that counties be given 5% share of the fund of the board, while corresponding adjustment of Kenya share from 40 to 36%, Kura from 15 to 14%, and Kera from 32 to 31%. Failure to prioritize the bill carries the grave risk of stalling the entire road program. So this bill, for example, Mr. Speaker, is very important to us. Extremely important, and those are the issues that I think we should discuss. Mr. Speaker, the other issue is that about tomorrow, we are going to meet, for example, the judiciary. But there is an important legal constitutional matter that requires our attention. In recent years, more than a dozen pieces of legislation had certain provisions declared unconstitutional by our courts. Yet in many such cases, those provisions remain on the statute books until Parliament takes action to amend or repeal them. This creates confusion in the application of the law and undermines the clarity of our legal framework. As the leadership of Parliament, we must establish a clear and efficient mechanism to ensure that whenever a court declares a law unconstitutional, prompt steps are taken to align our statutes with the judicial determination. In doing so, Parliament must work closely with other relevant state agencies, such as the National Law Council for Law Reporting, which monitors the development of jurisprudence in Kenya and highlights judicial. But in short, Mr. Speaker, what I'm saying, tomorrow we have to ask the judiciary, for example, they have declared many things unconstitutional, many laws we have passed. I don't know how. You see, before a bill is passed and is presented to the House, the Speaker and the Legal Department of Parliament checks properly the constitutionality of that bill. So when a court of law just declares unconstitutional, that is, I think, a very serious implication. It has a very serious implication on the part of Parliament. So I think tomorrow we need to get a common understanding with them. What makes them think these things, and can they clarify for us in a better manner? Because I saw a case like the cyber crime and computer misuse. We passed it last Parliament. The judiciary declared it's part of it unconstitutional. Then people started bullying the judiciary in the cyber space. They started crying again, saying that, oh, we are being bullied in the cyber. But you are the ones who say these things are unconstitutional. So you must carry the burden again of being abused and being maligned in the social media space. So they need to come clear to us how easy it is to make a bill, an act of Parliament, unconstitutional. So, Mr. Speaker, I am looking forward to the closed session more than this one. I want to stop there, Mr. Speaker, but I want to take this opportunity to thank you so much and the staff for facilitating and making Parliament even look better. Now, when you're entering Parliament from the back side, the rear entrance, Mr. Speaker, that is the only place where now we can take visitors who are from out of the country. Unless you do something else in the front. Now our visitors can only enter from the back. That's when they will feel they have entered Kenyan Parliament, Mr. Speaker. The picture is there, yeah? You can see. Because the place where it used to be the media center, Mr. Speaker, it looks much, much better. For those of us who have gone to other jurisdictions, like Mr. Speaker, when you go to the House of Commons, I went with the former Speaker, J.P. Muturi, and we were served lunch there one time. I thought we are in a 5-6-star hotel, Mr. Speaker. That small dining should be done like that, so that when we quarrel with the chairs, we can go and have lunch there. They feel we are in a big hotel, Mr. Speaker. So with those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I thank you all for giving us an opportunity to meet. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause for the minority leader. And I want to support that speaker and the clerk. It actually is something we've been overlooking. We are hosting a lot of students. We didn't even have worship.
That is the Parliamentary National Assembly retreat happening in Mombasa, and that was the National Assembly Minority Leader, Junet Mohammed, speaking there, of course, speaking to what they plan to achieve with this meeting, talking about the relationship between the legislature as well as the judiciary and how some of the decisions by the judiciary have repealed some of the laws that have been passed by Parliament. Of course, we shall be following up those proceedings as they go and be bringing you updates during our bulletins. Now we want to get into our conversation of the day. Let's just get back to that particular retreat and have the majority leader speaking there. Let's listen into that.
Or is it colleagues? If Didmas is here. Honorable Speaker, allow me to say that it is indeed also my great pleasure to be here this morning for this third leadership retreat since the beginning of this 13th Parliament. Honorable Speaker, we are holding this retreat as leaders for the third time, and this speaks volumes of our commitment to ensuring that at all times we do not drop the ball of leadership but maintain the momentum until the end of the term. Honorable Speaker, indeed, just like any other journey, vision over time may meander, committee could also diminish as we focus on individual leadership roles, and finally, fatigue can actually set in, and the clerk has very well enumerated that and the risk that we could face if fatigue was to set in, especially as we approach the end of a journey. And this, Honorable Speaker, is true in life, in all journeys of life, not just in the journey of leadership. However, as leaders, we must maintain the momentum, we must keep the focus, and keep the vision, and maintain that vision to be able to realize the goals that we have set out to. And for us, Honorable Speaker, the principal goal is to make sure that we deliver to the people of Kenya what we did promise them individually as members of Parliament when we ran for office some 3 years ago, and also collectively as a House and as an administration, we must deliver to the people of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, this journey of a leader is akin to a plane that must be put to maximum thrust to be able to take off, but put more thrust to achieve altitude, maintain that speed at cruise mode, and when you approach your destination, just like in a plane, you must put the greatest thrust to ensure a smooth landing. And it is for this reason, Honorable Speaker, that when our plane took off as a House some 3 years ago, we had the thrust to take off. We are now at cruise altitude, or cruise mode, and we must maintain the momentum as the destination is fast approaching in 2027. And it's for these reasons, Honorable Speaker, why we are here today as leaders to renew our synergy as we work together to deliver for the people of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, looking at this session, as a House, we have made great progress in execution of our legislative, oversight and representation roles, and I must really commend all of us here as leaders in the House, as chairs and vice chairs of committees, and those who hold other various positions of leadership in the House. And we have effectively steered the House together in support of our Speaker and our role as leaders. Honorable Speaker, if you allow me to just mention a few of these achievements, we've held a record 79, almost 80 sittings, and so far we have been able to process about 65 bills at various stages. We have introduced about 157 motions, presented 116 questions to various cabinet secretaries, requested for 296 statements, considered 53 statutory instruments, including the last one that we considered the day before yesterday on the e-government procurement, laid a total of 2,302 papers and considered 148 committee reports, most of them churned by you as a leadership in committees. And this is amongst other business, Honorable Speaker. And these are not just statistics or numbers. The numbers represent long days and nights spent by members both in plenary and in committees of the House discharging their constitutional duties. And that's why, Honorable Speaker, I've said I must commend these honorable members, because for every report of the 148 reports that we have considered, it has taken many of our members many long man hours to be able to consider that business. We have also considered the approval of various persons, including cabinet secretaries and principal secretaries, commissions or commissioners to various constitutional commissions and other public offices. And notably, Honorable Speaker, we have also implemented the recommendations that required the actions of Parliament in the implementation of the NADCO report, which I was fortunate to have co-chaired with the Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka. And to this end, Honorable Speaker, you're aware that this House vetted and approved the IBC commissioners, which is now in place. We have since also passed the other NADCO bills, like the Election Offences Amendment Bill, which we just passed last week, but one, which seeks to amend the Election Offences Act to give effective recommendations and views of the public on electoral justice and electoral integrity. Honorable members, as we move towards the tail end, or rather the second half of this Parliament, we will have a lot of business lined up for us. There are priority bills that we'll consider relating to the electoral cycle. And honorable members, not just bills that will be proposed by members. I'm already aware the new IBC Commission is already working to adopt a number of the electoral related bills that were considered by the previous commission, and I'm certain in due course they will be before Honorable Murugara's committee. But honorable members, in every journey, just as I was giving that analogy of a plane, even at cruise altitude, you will encounter challenges and there will be turbulence. And the Honorable Junet, Honorable Speaker, has requested that at an appropriate time within this session or within this retreat, we'll be able to have some time alone, a quiet time for ourselves as members, to have some introspection of how far we are, the turbulence that we have encountered mid-air at cruise altitude, while remaining steady on the captain's seat to ensure that that plane does not come down. Because if the plane was to come down, it would have devastating results, not just for the passengers on the plane, but also for those on the ground, literally speaking. So if Parliament was to come down as an institution, the devastation will not just be to us as members of Parliament, but also to the people we represent, our democracy and our nation. And therefore we must remain steady, we must ensure that we steady the ship amidst all the turbulence that could be there from wherever that turbulence could come. It could be as a result of bad weather, it could be as a result of having other issues with the plane, but we must ensure that the plane remains on course. And with that, Honorable Speaker, allow me to just mention that we have our successes, we have our stories of success to tell, but we also have our challenges as a house, as an institution, and also individually as leaders. And Honorable Speaker, if you allow me to just mention one of the challenges that I have seen and which I continue to foresee in the foreseeable future that probably we should be able to consider during this retreat, is the challenge of misinformation and disinformation. And this is a challenge that faces the House today, and the issue of misinformation or disinformation, even with the statistics that I have enumerated, Honorable Speaker, if the public is not involved and correctly informed on the business of the House, our work will usually always be in vain. The public will never ever be able to see our work because of the creeping culture of misinformation and disinformation, and especially in this AI age. And indeed, as the social media and governance space continues to grow, where reporting now is the click of a button. You do not need to wait for news at the end of the day or wait for newspapers the following day. At the click of a button and typing, news is out there. We must, as a House, find ways of addressing the issue of false reporting on the business of the House. And I appreciate the efforts that the House has put in place to ensure enhanced public participation through social media platforms. Much more remains to be done to ensure that there is timely dispatch of information to the public, and not just dispatch of information, but the right information. You will, for instance, members, recall the fate of the Finance Bill of 2024, which provisions we later passed in the tax laws. Disinformation largely led to the loss of that bill and the public uproar, despite the bill having some very progressive provisions that were intended to, among other things, boost local manufacturing and promote economic growth. And I must take this opportunity also to thank all of us as a House, because later, when we did the tax laws and the business laws in December of the same year, we are able to pass all these bills without any incident and without any loss in the country. What then can we do better? And that, Honorable Speaker, is what I have seen as a principal objective of this retreat. It is my hope that in this retreat we will have an opportunity to share ideas, and I'm happy to see the Honorable KJ here, who I've also noted has a slot on the program to share with us ideas on what we can do better, especially in communication. And what is clear is that we must work very closely with the media, and this is both the mainstream media and even innovative other channels of media, to ensure that there is timely dissemination of factual information to the public. And in developing this strategy, Honorable Speaker, we must be guided by the analogy that we have all been told many times of some 6 blind men and the elephant. And that story goes that there are 6 blind men who were tasked to touch a lion and say what it is without being told what it is. And the first man touched the trunk of the elephant and said, "This must be a very thick neck." The second one touched the ear and said, "It must be a fan." The third one touched the legs and said, "This thing must be a tree trunk." The fourth one touched the side of the elephant, and because of the rough skin and hardness, said, "This must be a wall." Remember, these are blind men. The fifth one touched the tail and said it was a rope. And lastly, the sixth one touched the elephant's tusk and said, "This is a spear at the tip." Honorable members, you will appreciate that these men, being blind, all of them were correct, because they said what they perceived it to be after touching it. The one who touched the Karoli, nobody touched what you asked. Kazio na Karoli Omondi signaling me to say things that are not in that analogy, and he knows it because I've shared it with him before. But the perception by each of these people were correct, because they said what they perceived from what they had each touched. But they never touched the complete elephant, all of them. Everybody touched a part of the elephant and said what they said. And it was correct. And this is a story of how misinformation and disinformation works. When we do not offer timely dissemination of information in the House, the public will always perceive what is out there to be the truth, and they are right, because that is what they have perceived. And that's why I say we have that challenge to be able to discuss among us ourselves and see how best can we communicate, not just from the clerk's office and the speaker's office or the leadership offices, but also individually, because we all appear in media stations. Many a times, Honorable Speaker, I've seen members appear on TV stations and speak to the issues that are before the House based on what they are reading in the media and seen on social media, but not based on the actual facts of what is before the House. And therefore, continuously we must continue educating ourselves taking a little bit more time to read, understand what is before us, so that we are also partakers in the dissemination of correct information. Honorable Speaker, we have bills that are stuck because the clerk did allude to the fact that I should speak to many of the issues, but I don't want to take a lot of time, Honorable Speaker. But we have a number of bills that are stuck in mediation, and I think it's only one mediation committee that is yet to be set up. We have challenges where members have been appointed to mediation committees. Some bills date back to 2022, 2023 at the inception of this House and are still stuck in mediation. For instance, the bill that was processed by Mutunga's Committee on Food and Feed Security, that bill is still stuck in mediation, and we need to work on ways to unlock many of these bills. We have a number of reports, and case in point is the Economic Partnership Agreement, which I was discussing with Honorable Shinali last week and Honorable Marianne Kitanyi. That agreement, which is a critical agreement for our country, for business and economic activities between us and UAE, has been stuck in the committee for the last 6, almost 7 months. So we need to look into many of those things in during this retreat. We have priority business, Honorable Speaker, that is coming ahead of us. Top among this, Honorable Speaker, if you can protect me from the Chair, Education, Honorable Meli, who is on phone and speaking so loudly that I can hear him from here. Honorable Speaker, I was saying we have a number of critical bills. Honorable Junet has alluded to some of them. Some that have gone to court and been declared unconstitutional that we need to redo. Top among this is a privatization bill, which, as you will note.
That is the National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah there, speaking at the parliamentary retreat that is happening in Mombasa. Of course, talking about a number of challenges that the parliament has been facing, including misinformation and disinformation. And he says that it is critical that parliament works with the media, both traditional media as well as digital media, to ensure timely dissemination of factual information. And we shall be telling you the occurrences of that retreat. Later on, we shall have the speaker, Moses Wetangula, speaking, and we shall be bringing you that as well. But now we want to get into our conversation of the day, and the first conversation is on cybersecurity, the state of cybersecurity in Kenya. And with me is Linda Mwibanda, who is a cybersecurity expert. Karibu sana, Linda.
Thank you so much, Betty.
Thank you, thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Asante.
Right. According to data from the Communications Authority,
okay,
between April to December last year, there were about 2.6 billion cyber threats in Kenya, and this has greatly increased. About 8 years before that, we were at 7.7 million. So that the scale is huge. What is influencing this?
First, I can say that there's high internet penetration in Kenya. Right now, even when you go to mashinani, everybody is online. So that is one of the reasons. Secondly, people are trying to look for money. I think the tough economic times are driving people into doing criminal activities on the cyberspace. I can say thirdly, it's because of ignorance. A lot of people are losing money not because they want, but they're just ignorant. They don't know how to protect themselves. So I can say that those are three major things that are leading to high cases of cybersecurity attacks in the country.
It's good that you mentioned the issue of ignorance and really not knowing how to protect yourself. We shall be talking about that in a bit, and you shall also give us tips on how to protect ourselves, But this report says that the sectors that are most affected is finance, public administration, there were internet service providers, cloud service providers, academia, education. So really, these are critical sectors that serve Kenya's economy. And as you said, people are losing money, whether it's in their mobile money wallets or it's in their bank accounts. People are losing money. So tell me why these sectors are vulnerable.
Okay. Let's start with finance.
Right.
The finance sector. Clearly, money is the driving factor when it comes to crimes. Most of the crimes, money is the driving force. So you'll find that these organizations have not invested so well in their cybersecurity protection. That is their technology, the human aspect of it, and also the policy aspect of it. So you'll find that this particular organization, or rather these financial organizations, are lagging behind. I can use the case of KRA. There is a time we had an incident with KRA, and it lost to several billions of money. There's also the Kenya Power. We cannot forget that. It has lost, when you look at their reports, the financial reports, they're losing billions of money due to cyber attacks, and that is when it comes to people buying token mwitu, if you've heard of that. That is also a form of cyber attack. So you will just find that one of the reason is they're not protecting that, they're not enforcing the technology, the human aspect, and the policy aspect. They're lagging behind on that. Another thing is the human aspect of it is the insider crimes, the people themselves within the organization. They just want to maybe sabotage the company or maybe steal and make an extra shilling. So you'll find that they collaborate with outsiders and now maybe give out, leave some loopholes within the system whereby the outsider can get inside the system and maybe if buy themselves tokens or maybe bypass the payments or maybe defraud the system or let's say transfer the money from the system. When you look at banks, for example, we can say that mostly also the inside people, they do that. And now another thing that is really leading to the escalation of these threats is AI, artificial intelligence. Right now people are using AI. And you'll find that these organizations are also lagging behind when it comes to embracing technology. They find that the budget for cybersecurity is a bit high, so they want to just use the traditional methods, or rather they want to cut down when it comes to investing in cybersecurity. So when they do that, actually they're leaving a large loophole because they do not understand that as they scale their businesses or their services, for example, the government of Kenya, whereby right now almost everything is digitalized. We are the digital hub of East Africa. So you'll find this is the platform like eCitizen, whereby you can get NTSA if you want the good conduct, if you want to pay for, let's say, birth certificates. All those things are happening.
There are over 22,000 government services on eCitizen now.
And now you find that we are only looking at scaling up or rather expanding our digital footprint, but we are not thinking critically on how we're going to protect ourselves. So,
go on.
So when we do not have that mind, when we just focus on expanding, acquiring more, getting more people on board, but how we do not have that conscience of how we're going to protect them. You see, that is the biggest risk. So we need, as a government, as individuals, as private organizations, they need also to think as they're expanding, they need to factor in cybersecurity. And now it's not just the normal cybersecurity where people are hacking you, people are using AI. And cybersecurity is beyond, it's borderless. So you can say that it's Kenyan, it's a Kenya hacking you, but clearly maybe it's not even a Kenyan. It could be someone from a different region, from a different government who are hacking into the system.
So, of course, these organizations know how sensitive the information that they have is. Banks, of course, know how important people's money is. Government knows how important our data is, you know. So, what needs to be done to ensure that the same seriousness, as you say, that is being put into expansion is being put into the protection part of it? What steps need to be taken at the very planning stage?
Okay, I don't know whether I should start with an individual, the organization, the private organization, or the government at large.
Well, let's start with the government, then we trickle down to the individual.
All right. When it comes to the case of Kenya, let me just bring it at home. Let's not be out of touch with the reality, like the ongoing Chan games. Recently, they say that the system has crashed. What crashed the system? These are individuals who created bots to buy the tickets, to overbuy the tickets, to overwhelm the system, then it crashed. Tanzania right now, it's complaining that Kenyans have bought tickets.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, there's someone sitting somewhere with a bot. You see, they've created bots so that they overbuy the system. Yeah, it's good. They decided to do the electronic ticketing.
Yeah.
Yes. But now, as they did that, they did not foresee the security aspect of it. And now it did not just affect individuals not getting into the stadium. The tickets were not just cancelled. Kenya was penalized. You see, now we lost money as a nation. Yeah. So I'm just trying to bring it back at home, then I'll say what we can do.
Right.
We have another incident where we lost a life. That is the Albert Ojong, the boy who died was killed because he did a cybercrime. You know, he posted something which was affecting a senior police officer. And now, as you see, the guy was arrested, then later on he died because of that post. So I can say it's a cybercrime because it happened over the cyberspace. Then later on it trickled to the physical aspect of it. We have even cases where people are depressed. Even our socialites, you'll find that they're depressed because people are posting information which is fake, which is not real. People are just saying lies. So now, the government, what is it supposed to do? First, we need to enforce there's a call which is coming in. Sorry. Yeah. So as a nation, we need to enforce our legal system. Even the law enforcers themselves, let's start from the law enforcers. They need to be trained, you see. How will they handle when it comes to digital crimes, or rather cyber crimes? How will they handle that? How are they supposed to handle it? You do not, just kill a person because he has posted something. We need to come up with a framework, or rather mechanism, on how that can be handled. Yes, and when it goes to court, are our lawyers, or is our legal system, are they well trained to ensure that this particular case is not handled like the physical, let's say the physical assault case? So how do we handle cases in relation to cyber crimes? All right. You come to cases whereby you find our systems are being hacked. We had an incident where the Sudanese, there's a hacker group called the Sudanese whatever. They were hacking into our systems. I don't know whether you guys were aware of that. So now, if Kenya, let's say, as a country, we do not have enough experts to protect our system, what are we supposed to do? We need to collaborate with other nations. For example, Egypt is well developed when it comes to matters cybersecurity. Mauritius is well developed when it comes to matters cybersecurity. So we need to have a framework where we have a cyber diplomacy. These are the diplomats. We have the local diplomats who find they're going to US, they're going to Uganda. So we need also to have a cyber diplomat who will ensure that we collaborate with other nations and protect our infrastructure. That is, if we Kenyans, we are not capable of doing that. Also, the government should encourage, because we have a lot of bright people in the country, we need to come up with research and innovation centers, whereby these young brains, they can be taken to those innovation centers. We develop security systems.
Right.
And sell to Kenya itself, and also maybe sell abroad. So we should not close our minds and just focus on buying systems from abroad. We have very bright people. What are they doing? You just find them doing Forex. And that Forex itself, quote unquote, sort of Forex or Sinikojie, you'll find that it's just a scam. They're doing Bitcoin. If it's good, yes, but if you do not do it well, it's also a scam. So we need to tap into that. Then also we need to enforce our legal frameworks. We have the Cybersecurity framework, that is the 2018. It's called the Cybersecurity what? Yes, we have that, the Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act, yes,
Right,
that is the correct term.
Mhm.
So we need to enforce it, and we need to update it so that it also looks at the most current crimes. For example, even the WhatsApp hijacking, that is also a cybercrime. You find people are crying, oh, my WhatsApp has been hijacked. Someone is borrowing money using my WhatsApp. So we need to incorporate such things into our act. We also need to ensure that we have policies that are in relation with international standards, the ISO standards. That is where we need diplomacy, so that we also look at what other developed nations or what other nations that have high milestones in cybersecurity, what are they doing?
Right.
As a nation, we also need to embrace cybersecurity in our education system.
Okay.
We are forgetting that some of these young people, right now, children are at home, parents are at work. What are they doing? They're online, they're chatting, and leave alone maybe sending bad pictures or whatever. You'll find that these people are being bullied. These young people are being bullied online within their WhatsApp groups. Is happening. So we need to embrace cybersecurity in our education system together with the parents and then the teachers, so that we create awareness, so that people know, or rather the citizens appreciate the importance of cybersecurity. We also need to create massive awareness. You see that we had those campaigns of HIV. I think it's high time we also just have such massive campaigns.
That scale
yeah,
of campaigns.
that scale of campaign.
Yeah.
Because we only see Safaricom, like these service providers like Safaricom, and these are private entity, which are doing maybe awareness, cybersecurity awareness. They tell you, do not give your PIN yako ni siri yako.
Right,
but
right. Even banks do that
yes,
as well.
Even banks do that. But now as a government, we are not doing that. So the way we always, when it comes to even election period, we always tell people, go take your ID, or kura yako ni, whatever it is. So we also need to embrace that, that magnitude of awareness, of just telling people, about cybersecurity, educating people. And I'll kid you not, yesterday I was in the market. You see the way you go to the supermarket, then the guy tells you, give me your phone number, then they send you a prompt.
Yes.
You just pay.
Yes.
So I was in the market, yes. I was in the market buying some things. Then I get a prompt. And trust you me, it's not from the vendor whom I'm buying from.
Right.
So if my mind was not conscious, I could have just put in my...
your PIN and you'd have lost money.
Yeah, I've lost money.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that people are suffering from that. And now even Safaricom maybe don't know how to cap that. So the only thing is awareness for people for it to be imprinted in our consciousness that you need to be alert all the time about cyber crimes. You're not supposed to give out your PIN. You're not supposed to give out your personal information. Even when it comes to social media, like the government should just be proactive about it. Yeah, when it comes to organizations, they need to take up the three-layered approach.
Okay.
They need to invest in technology. They need to invest in people. They need to invest in policies. Technology, they need to come up. They need to have firewalls to protect their data. And data should not only be protected when it's at rest. For example, banks, also on transit. I have a friend who works in a certain local bank. He complained that they had even gone out to source for a system to come and protect their monies, people's monies,
right.
Because they said they have an issue with their online banking app, whereby if you send prompts more than 2 times, the app will give you money. If you're withdrawing, let's say, it's happening, Betty.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a local bank here. So when you say send a prompt of you want to withdraw 10,000 and there's no money in your system, then you keep on sending, the bank will give you money.
Without you requesting for that money?
See, you don't have money in your account.
Yes.
But it's like you're sending several prompts to the bank, wanting to withdraw money. So it will reach a point, it will give you money, like you'll succeed with your withdrawal.
And yet you don't have money?
You don't have money.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
So they had gone outside to source for that system. And I'm sure our Kenyan brains, can develop,
can develop
such a
yeah,
system.
Yeah.
So you see now, technologies, they need to factor that. And as you embrace technology, you have to know that there are 0 days attacks.
Okay.
You see, 0 days attacks, like right now people are making use of bots. People are not doing it. Someone writes a code, then it keeps on prompting the system. So people are writing bots. So we need to factor that, 0-day attacks as we buy our technology. We also now need to train our staff. They need to train their staff, they need to train the public, of which I can say the private sector is doing so well when it comes to that.
Okay.
Look at Safaricom, look at the local banks, KCB, Equity. They're always telling their customers, pin yako, siri yako. If you receive a funny call, which does not start with 002 or whatever.
Yeah, their number, yes.
They have their numbers.
Yeah.
So that is not us. So yeah, they're doing well. Also now when it comes to the policies, I believe they're also trying. Now when it comes to the individual aspect, you as a person.
Just before we go to the individual person, there have been quite some complaints online, especially about banks, where people lose money, and it seems there is some level of complacence in the way banks are dealing with this issue. What is your comment on that?
Okay, you know, a bank is a business.
Yes.
And this business is owned by an individual. Now, let's say the bank has been scammed. You know, there's someone who will pay for it. As you're making your gain, there is someone who's making a loss, and there's someone who is going to pay for that loss.
Right.
So let's say if you've prompted that system, that particular system, and it has given you money, you see. So, you know, there's no like free money. This money is coming from somewhere. So you'll find that the bank is not willing to pay you because they're incurring losses. And being a business, they have to make profits.
Right.
Yeah, so that is why I believe they just don't want to pay. And maybe I can say maybe it's also culture, because I have a sister who is abroad, and she complained that she was saving money with our local banks, and she realized that her balance is not the same. She tried to follow up, they don't pick. And now, you know, with customer care, you call, you're speaking to this person, you explain your case. You call again, yes, it's a different person.
Yeah.
So I can say it's just bad culture within our banking system, and they need to change that, because we need them as much as they need us. We need to work together, to collaborate together, so that there's a win-win on both sides. So yeah, I can say that is the reason why maybe they're a bit complacent on responding to frauds.
Right.
And also it ruins their reputation clearly if a particular bank is known for losing monies, you know.
No one will want to put
no one will
money,
want to bank with them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So as we come to a close of the conversation, just speak to the viewer for them to understand what they need to do from an individual perspective to protect their data, to protect their money, and you know, just their cyber identity, so to say. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for the individuals, because of the high internet penetration, and because of the ease access of smartphones, because you do not need to be rich. Kuna simu za kukopa, the ones of lipa pole pole. So you can,
right.
Yes. So we need to tone down when it comes to giving our personal information, because people overshare. You just need to you can even write lies about yourself. Do not write lies about someone else.
Okay.
Yeah, lie about yourself, so that people do not get direct access to you. People do not come to know who you are. Right now at home we have networks, the fiber. We are connected. Make sure that your password is encrypted. You can also adopt the use of VPNs. That is maybe when you're just at home, you're trying to do some transactions online, make sure you're doing it via VPN. Don't just do it nakedly. Some people will be like, no, me, I'm using Safaricom, it's safe. I'm not using a public Wi-Fi. No, even that your home Wi-Fi, even that your personal Wi-Fi
can be vulnerable.
Yeah, it can be vulnerable. There's nothing, you cannot say never ever. Yeah, so just make sure you have a VPN, and also as much as we are trying to look for money, I'll try to just encourage the Gen Zs. Right now, they have this frenzy of Bitcoin. They have this frenzy of Forex. It's not bad, but a very few percentage of them are making banks out of it. Some are just losing money, and this is because they're fakes. They're fakes, and people do not just people are just going there blindly. If the deal is too sweet, think twice about it, because how can someone come and tell you because Bitcoin you're going to make a kill within 24 hours? I have this app that is going to give you a lot of money, but question yourself, think critically, do not just be basic, think about it, because when you look at Forex, for example, trading, you'll find that we have fake Forex platforms, and they'll tell you, invest your money here, then we'll do the trading for you. Betty, I'll urge you to try. You go put your money there, then come and tell me whether you're going to make money. So people are just being scammed like that. Basically, evil too, without any effort. So just think critically, think twice about something. Also, I can say, what else can I say? Passwords, that is the common thing. Ensure you have a safe, strong password, do not share it. Do not overtrust people. Someone just, the trust element in people. They come, I'm so and so, can you don't remember me? Yeah, oh, you don't remember me, I was with you. Then you'll be like, oh, okay, fine. But now, you clearly, even you deep down yourself, you don't even know this person.
Right?
Yeah, but the trust element within our humanity will just prompt you to giving you information. So people just need to be aware of that. And also, the way these banks and Safaricom is over-advertising pin yako, siri yako, do not, when you receive a call, we want to verify your SIM card number. So, no, just go to the local agent there and ask them what's wrong with my phone. But do not give any information.
Right.
Yeah.
Protect your information at all costs.
Yeah.
Great. I'll give you a minute to tell us your thoughts in terms of the future of cybersecurity in Kenya. Where are we headed as your closing remarks?
I think when we range Kenya right now, we are number 4 in Africa.
Right.
We are not doing bad, but we need to do better. We need to be number 1. Of course, Kenya is a very competitive country. So the future of cybersecurity, the future now is going to be AI, whether we like it or not. But it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. So we need to embrace AI when it comes to security.
Right.
And also we just need to change our culture completely as people. We need to be kind, because online people are not kind, and it's a crime, honestly. Yeah, people are not kind, and you need to love yourself more. Try to protect that which you have by just loving yourself more. Protect your privacy at all costs. Protect your family. Protect your whatever you're doing. Protect it, unless you are doing a reality show. And but some of these people also lie when it comes to reality things. And also do not see whatever you see is not the truth. Yeah, it can just be a shadow of the truth. So do not take everything to be the truth. Whatever you see online, do not consume it. And also when you're online, ensure that you go to the safe sites, the safe websites. Just do double background checking to ensure that this is a real, let's say, website. Maybe people nowadays are working online. I will not kid you not. People are working online, they're making money, and some are losing. So just make sure as you do your work online, make sure that you are logging into the right site. What else? The future of cybersecurity. The zero-day attacks are gonna increase.
Okay. What are zero-day attacks?
These are attacks that have never happened.
All right, they're new.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're just new.
So,
before I forget, something has come on my mind. Then it has
just a few seconds to go, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did I want to say? I think it has escaped my mind.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Linda. Always a pleasure to have you to discuss matters cybersecurity.
Yeah.
That is Linda Mwibanda, who is a cybersecurity expert, just telling us about the threats that are increasing in the country and how to make sure that you're protecting yourself and your people online. Of course, ensuring that as corporates, they are investing in technology, its people, and its policies. And of course, the policy part also spills over to government. So everyone has a role to play to ensure that our cyberspace is safe for everyone to use. Now, that is the first conversation here on BizCheck. We want to take a quick break. When we come back, we shall be talking about safeguarding the built environment. Do stay with us.
Praise the Lord. My name is Pastor Tim Wangi, and I want to invite you for a life-changing, transformative show.
I was blinded and thrown to the floor on my knees, just like Saul.
Conversations. Gen Z ni nani? E-boldness mnatoa wapi?
Kuna mentality fulani yenye inakujenga, si a rebellion really, but ni ya kuquestion system.
Engagements that are life-changing and provocative.
When you are young, your core business should be to create value in yourself.
Join me, DJ Andy C, bringing to you Kingdom Vibe, full of gospel bangers.
Join us for Angaza Show.
Every Saturday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Only on One.
They say the earth without art would just be get it? We circumnavigate the globe and traverse the local scene to bring you art and culture at their very best. From fine art, culinary art, performing arts, and even cultural events, you name it, and we have got you covered. My name is Kevin Kasioki, and I will be serving you this and much, much more each and every Friday at 8 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Thank you for keeping it KBC. This is BizCheck. My name is Betty Kiptum. We want to get into the second conversation of the program, and we are discussing matters, the built environment. But before we get into that conversation, let's go over to Mombasa. The Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, is speaking at the National Assembly retreat. Let's listen in.
A person preferential treatment beyond what is allowed by law or a written policy. This allows us from being influenced by offers of outside employment in the exercise of an official power of performance of your duties, prohibits us from entering into contracts for the supply of goods and services, as well as contracts for the disposal of goods with the Parliamentary Service Commission, bars us from acquiring an interest in a legal entity that is party to a contract with the Parliamentary Service Commission, and restricts us from engaging in other gainful employment, which is incompatible with our official duties, impairs your judgment in the execution of official duties, or results in conflict of interest. Additionally, the Act establishes an enhanced wealth declaration model that requires you to submit wealth declarations on a biannual basis to the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Committee under supervision of the EACC. In this regard, I direct the clerk to urgently appraise members of the new modalities of submission of the initial declarations to ensure compliance within the prescribed timelines. As your Speaker, I unequivocally restate my commitment to ensuring that the dignity of the House is upheld as envisaged in the law. Out of all obligations imposed on the Speakership, I owe this most to the institution of Parliament and the people of Kenya. Honourable members, we also have the issue of House business, quorum hitches, and so on. Honourable members, moving on, the other area that requires our intervention looking at the last 7 months is the issue of quorum. I don't need to overstate this. I just encourage you, honourable members, that emulate, I don't know who here was in Parliament with Martin Shikuku, Farah Malin. I don't think Kainan found Shikuku in the House. Martin Shikuku, on each and every day, the Speaker found him in the chamber and the Speaker left him in the chamber. And for the entire sitting time, you will never see Martin Shikuku go to have a cup of tea or even respond to a call of nature. He will just be seated there. And he's the one who made us change the standing orders of Parliament to restrict times of debate. Because Shikuku, on a bill, and without repetition, without being ruled irrelevant, would debate a bill alone for 2 weeks. So after question time, the Speaker would call, this bill is still continuing, and Martin Shikuku was on the floor. And he'll come and speak from 3:30 until 6:30, then you go away. The next day, this bill is still continuing, and the man on the floor was Martin Shikuku. And he would go on to the end of the day, and at no time would anybody find him repetitive or irrelevant. He made us change the standing orders to restrict times that we speak and to create committee system. I want to urge you, and I've talked to my majority and minority leadership, if all of us seated here behaved like Martin Shikuku, we would never have a quorum hitch in the House. I don't agree, I don't know who said here, that when you have a business as a chair, you must be in the House. As a chair, you must be in the House regardless. And if all of you are in the House, then all other members, because many of you, apart from very few, are first-timers. In fact, the only chairs of committees who are first-timers are less than 4. All the rest, you are second-timers, third-timers, and beyond. Please, let's avoid the temptation to give the public fodder to think that we don't work. Because every time the bell rings until it goes off and we go away, the media has a field day. You don't work, you don't care, you are lazy, I don't know what, all sorts of things they say. And then misinformation, disinformation, and fake news takes over to do the damage that we have all been suffering from. So please, let's pay attention to issues of quorum. And I want to encourage you, honorable members. I know you are now on home stretch. Each one of you is struggling to be re-elected, either in a different capacity or in the same capacity. But you can still manage your parliamentary business and juggle with your home constituency in which you are struggling to get your way back. Public participation is another issue. We've been struggling with the issue of public participation since the new constitution. And one entity that doesn't seem to understand what public participation means is the judiciary. And I've told Morgara and his team, Chepkonga and Otienda Molo, and the team that vetted the new Attorney General. You remember we asked the new Attorney General that we needed within a year to see a public participation law. From where I sit, we should not use public participation to squander public resources. If a bill is coming from National Assembly to the Senate, and you have carried out public participation, must the Senate do the same? I don't think so. And I can give you an example, those of you who participated in the sugar bill. I don't know if Emmanuel Wango is here. The sugar bill was extensively taken through public participation by the committee. And the sugar growing areas are known. Kwale, Nyanza, Narok, and Western, and now parts of Rift Valley. Kwale is coast. I started with Kwale. People in the villages were coming to me as your speaker saying, the committee from Parliament, you know, Wananchi don't know the difference between Parliament and Senate, that we are all Parliament. So they know you are Parliament and that is Senate. They say, a committee from Parliament came here and talked to us about sugar, and we all went there and gave our views. Now we see the Senate is also here on the same thing. And we're the same farmers, we're the same people. These are some of the things that the bill we have received from the Attorney General. We also had a bill that had been drafted, was it by Chepkonga or somebody, that we must harmonize and pass this bill because over 70% of our bills have been struck out by the courts on the basis of public participation. And when I engage the Chief Justice, she says, where is the law that guides my judges as to the extent, depth of public participation? So I want us to take this as a priority, that in the next session after recess, in this session after the recess, we give this bill top priority. A bill emanates from the executive. A ministry carries out public participation. It comes to the House. We carry out public participation. It goes to the Senate. They carry out public participation. Somebody goes to court and says, oh, before they did it in the National Assembly, nobody went to the villages. That is why we have now innovated that your offices are our offices in all your constituencies and in all the counties for the women reps. So those are the centers of parliamentary activities in the outreach. That when we want public participation, we go to Kimilili, we go to Nyaribari, we go to Kilifi North, and talk to people through our offices. It's the depository of parliamentary documentation for Wananchi to respond. So once we finish this, because at all those levels, we are spending public money from the same envelope. So this wastage.
That is the National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula there speaking at the National Assembly retreat that is happening in Mombasa, addressing a number of issues, reiterating the problem about disinformation and misinformation on parliamentary issues to the public, as well as now he's talking about the high cost of public participation and the need for legal guidance in terms of the threshold for public participation to be met, vis-a-vis using a lot of public money to do public participation. And of course, those are some of the conversations that are happening at that particular retreat. We shall be keeping you abreast with the proceedings in our subsequent bulletins. Now in studio, we want to talk about matters the built environment, how to ensure that we are safeguarding it and that the construction industry is working for the benefit of Kenyans. And to have this conversation is architect Lawrence Gitau, who is the secretary at the National Building Inspectorate. Karibu sana, architect.
Thank you very much.
Right, just give us an overview of what the role of the National Building Inspectorate is.
Thank you very much, and I'm grateful for being at the State Broadcaster. The National Building Inspectorate is a department in the State Department for Public Works. Our role mainly is to ensure resilient built infrastructure, that is to ensure that the buildings that we stay in are safe, And how we achieve this is by ensuring all the players, the built industry has many players, from the architects who design, the engineers, the contractors, and the other players, including the county government, who are the ones who have the mandate of development control to ensure that they all work as one. So we coordinate all the players in the built environment as the government. Yes.
Your role is ensuring that we have safe buildings.
Yes.
I will just throw it to you there. We've seen very many buildings collapsing in the past few years, and people have lost their lives, property. And so where is the disconnect? Some of these buildings have not even been fully constructed. They are midway. What is happening?
Thank you very much. Yes, in the past few years, from around 2015, we've seen an increase in building collapses. And this has been caused by many factors, quite a number of factors, but we can narrow down to the main factors. One is the way our people build. They have no recognition for built environment professionals. When people get land, one of the biggest issues, especially in Eastern Nairobi and many other places, is on land that has no title. So when you have land that has no title, you cannot acquire a building permit. So in those areas, and there are many areas, the people working in those places, those specific places, they have no architect, they have no engineer, and there's no contractor. And of course, in many other places where they have titles, our people circumvent this requirement to have the professionals design their buildings, to have the engineers do their structures. They also don't do geotechnical tests, that is, they do not investigate the quality of the soil and the ground where they build, and that is at the design stage. At construction, we have buildings being put up without contractors. You have buildings being put up without supervision by competent professionals, and we have buildings where people are taking shortcuts, using inappropriate materials, not putting the right mixtures of cement, sand, and concrete, using inadequate sizes for reinforcement, even when they've been designed, and also causing building collapses is climate change. When we build in areas that are not meant to be built. You see, there are some areas that should never build, on steep slopes, in swamps, in areas prone to flooding. But we've seen our people go all the way next to riparian reserves, next to the river, next to very steep slopes. So in those areas, unless you have a very, very good design, when it rains, when the floods come, the buildings will be swept away. So these are some of the issues, some of the factors that are causing building collapses in this country.
Right. And who is charged with ensuring that people are following the law as it should be? Because if you have, say, your designs or your construction permits done correctly, but at the construction stage, you start circumventing the law, who is supposed to make sure that people are building correctly?
Good. I think the first rule, the first person who should ensure that buildings are being done correctly is the developer. You're putting in your money, your hard-earned money. So it's your first responsibility to ensure that you hire the services of competent professionals. That is, first, the designs are up to standard. You have the architect, you have the engineer who's designed. Then we have the county government. The county government under PLUPA, Planning and Land Use Act, have the mandate for development control to inspect and to ensure that buildings that are approved have passed the test, that is, their quality and that they should be built. And they also should supervise at critical stages. But the person who bears the sole responsibility is the consultant. But the consultant must be engaged. You see, the consultant will not come to your project unless you engage him and appropriately remunerate the consultant, that is the engineer and the architect. So the whole of this team ensures that the project is done. But beyond that, we have the other regulators. That is, we have the National Construction Authority, who should ensure that the project contractor who is registered for this project is actually doing the work. We've seen in this country people comply for the sole purpose of having the papers. You'll go to a site, there's a sideboard. On the sideboard, the project is approved. That means it's been designed by a competent and a registered architect. The structure has been designed by a competent and registered engineer. These are registered contractor. All the other licenses from NEMA and others have been taken. But this is just for the board. Inside, when you go in, the architect is never invited to come and inspect. The engineer has never been to site. And the contractor was just for record. So the developer gets all these people, they get the initial design, and then gets some fundis to come and construct. I'm not saying that our fundis are bad, but every level of knowledge, every level of skill
is important.
And it has its role. So the architect has his role, the engineer has his role. So when you decide that the work of the engineer can be done by a technician who did 2 years or 1 year in college, when the engineer was there for 5 years, or when you decide that a technician who did 3 years can do the work of an architect who was in school for 6 years and had to do apprenticeship for 2 years before he's registered, then you know the value of what you get. It depends on the person, the quality of the person that you've employed. So, as I've said, all these players must come in, and that is why the National Building Inspectorate is there. Because as you've heard, there are many players. There are the architects and they are regulators. We have engineers, they are regulators. We have the contractors, they are regulators. And we have the county government that has the mandate of development control. And we must ensure that all these people, of course, plus other agencies like NEMA, Water Resources Authority, and the road agencies come into play. So we coordinate them to ensure that this harmony in the built environment.
Right.
Yes.
And even before we get to that construction place, there's something called planning. And as you said that the role of these is county governments carry a big part of this. According to a 2024 report on the built environment sector, only 20% of 911 urban centers in this country have secured necessary development approvals. Counties are supposed to put at least 30% of their annual budgets to development expenditures. Very few counties actually meet the threshold. So speak to us about the role of the county governments in ensuring that the built environment is working for the people.
Yes, the county governments play a very critical role since they have the mandate under PLUPA.
Right.
And you know, where we start going wrong, as you said, is at planning. And when you look at planning, it's important you see planning at the start of a project. You build on land. For you to build, the land must have been subdivided and planned. You know, the sizes of land that have been approved by our county governments, by our physical planning departments in this country, some of them, I mean, you don't know what some of the people think. We have plots in this country which are 20 feet by 15 feet, where you have a tower that you can't do a staircase, but they are approved. We have parcels of land where the access roads are 3 meters, where you can't do a road. You know, a car can pass on 3 meters, but you must know that those roads are where you must pass the services. You have to do the drainage, you have to provide water there, you have to provide power there. So when you have a road that is below the minimum required dimensions, then whatever you do there cannot be safe, because you can access, you know, our slums. Even if you had a very nice building in the slums, however good it can be within the compound, if you are unable to access that space, that land, that parcel of land during an emergency, then your building is unsafe. So our issues start at planning, how we plan to subdivide our land. When we subdivide our land without taking care of the basic amenities, and having very small sizes that an architect can't plan for. Like those plans I'm talking about, you have a plot of 40 by 80 or 40 by 60. The planning guidelines and the building code, and especially the building code that you have now, the building code 2024, we have a new building code, determines that you should leave some setbacks to the side. 3 meters to the side, 3 meters to the side, and 6 meters to the front. If you have a 40 by 60 plot and you leave those setbacks and the building line is required by law, there is no space to build. You may just have a corridor in between.
Yeah.
So when you subdivide the land without due reference to the regulations, that is, without meeting the minimum size of land that you should have for a property, then whatever else you do there is lost. And the job of approving subdivisions is with the county. Then, of course, we go to the second phase. There's an architect who's designed, or there's no architect, or there's an engineer, and they submit these drawings. The role of the county government, the Department for Development Control, is to confirm first that this work has been done by a competent, licensed architect. In many times we find that buildings have been approved when the county has not confirmed that the person who's designed is registered, is licensed, that is a licensed architect and a licensed engineer. We've also seen now, as we saw in Mombasa, and it's also happening in Nairobi, you know, when you want to finish someone, you know, you starve them. Eh? So when the architects have no work, then they start lending out their credentials. There's a new problem where projects are supposedly approved because they've been designed by architects and engineers, but essentially the architect and the engineer was hungry. We've killed the industry. We made the industry a kadogo industry. So the architect has no work to do. And we've seen architects who decided to spoil the environment, to just stamp everything. And now the county government, and here we have an issue with the county government. This is a discussion that we want to start at a national level and then discuss with the county government, and especially on the law that is in charge, that controls development, that is PLUPA. You know, the county government, in as much as they approve, they take no responsibility. So the architect takes the drawing, the engineer takes the drawing. First assumption is that the architect and the engineer are competent and
keep going. Yeah.
Yes, are competent and they've been registered. So they do not check. There's an indemnity. We've approved, but our approval does not mean anything. You're still responsible as the architect or as the engineer or as the developer. So we must start this conversation. As a county government, you cannot approve and then say you're not responsible. You should approve and be responsible, or demand more responsibility from the consultant. So the counties, the challenges we have at the counties on this part, especially on the approval process, is on capacity. You know, most counties have issues with, as you said, we should be spending 30% on development, but you're spending 70%. But even that 70%, we do not have skills in the areas that require skills. So you'll find, we've seen in counties, I will not name them, we move around in the counties. You find a county is collecting billions, a very huge chunk of its own source revenue, but they're not putting the money back on the areas where they get the revenue. We've seen counties without a single engineer, without a single architect. So in as much as you expect the work to be designed by an architect, the works to be designed by an engineer, if the person who is approving these works is not of equal capacity and competence, then we fail at that point. And there are many such counties. A good number of them have just gotten a few, the ones with engineers and architects, are the ones that have been supposedly forced by World Bank, as they want to have municipalities. So we have some, in the municipalities, you'll find an architect, an engineer, because the World Bank was strict. But generally, our counties are ill-equipped to offer this development control service, and therefore unable to know, you know, whether a building, so long as it's stamped, they also just annex their stamp.
Right.
So, and then that is the role of the counties. And at construction, they still have a role.
Okay.
The regulations, and even the old building code and the bylaws of the county government require that inspectors from the county go to site, and at some key stages, I mean, the developer or the contractor should invite them, tell them, today I'm laying the slab, come and inspect. But they've only highlighted some few areas where they inspect. So, but often when they come, it's just passing by, stamp, just to fill the documents, because essentially you've already signed a disclaimer as the consultant that you indemnifying them.
Right, so they do not take any responsibility
exactly,
in
they
case
have
of something.
no responsibility.
Right,
yeah.
That is something that needs to be looked at definitely. I'm informed that we are out of time. I'll give you 1 minute to give us your closing remarks.
Thank you. I think my closing remarks, I would just want to talk to Kenyans and ask them to use our built environment professionals, and they're there, there are many, and just to ask them, you know, we are taking our children to school to be architects, to be engineers. You know, if you do not develop this industry, if when you're building, and all of us are building, most Kenyans aspire to own a house, to own a building. This is where we put our own hard-earned money. Please use the services of our built environment professionals. And now on a new emerging issue, if you want to acquire a property, you need to be assured that that property is safe. The people who can assure you, who can do you test, is the National Building Inspectorate. We are at Hill Plaza, next to the Dimani Law Courts, first floor. Come, talk to us. Before you buy that property worth millions, let us assure you that that property is safe, its structure is safe, and it not develop cracks in the next few days, and that it can sustain, can live for long.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Thank you very much. That is where we end the conversation this morning with architect Lawrence Gitau, who is the Secretary, National Building Inspectorate, talking about safeguarding the built environment. My name is Betty Kiptum, and Byron Abuli is my colleague on the sign language interpretation. Do have yourself a lovely afternoon and continue enjoying KBC Channel 1. Bye-bye.
Katika Qur'an tukufu Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anatuamuru tukumbushane, kwani kukumbushana kunawafaa waumini. Kwa mujibu wa hadithi, Mtume Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam anatushauri tueneze ujumbe wake angalau kwa aya moja. Basi tunatia ari kufanya ambacho ni jukumu la kila Muislamu, kukumbushana mema na kukatazana maovu. Tunakuletea mawaidha za mashehe, wataalam, maustadh, madrasa, makala spesheli na Okti Fatuma Yakub, mafunzo na historia za mitume na maswahaba, na burudani kupitia nashid na wasifu za munshid. Tazama ukumbi wa Kiislamu nami Alishe kila Ijumaa saa 9:30 katika KBC Channel 1.
Kila mwisho wa juma hapa katika runinga yako ya KBC Channel 1 tunakuletea Mkulima.
Mkulima ni kipindi cha kila mtu. Mkulima mdogo, mkubwa, mnunuzi, muuzaji na pia anayenuia kuanza kilimo.
Kuanzia kwa mbinu bora na za kisasa za kilimo, ufugaji,
kukupa fursa za biashara, kuongeza thamani hadi teknolojia zinazorahisisha kilimo.
Mkulima kisasa inakupa wewe maarifa, motisha na suluhu za kukuza mazao,
kuongeza kipato na pia kulisha taifa kwa jumla.
Tunafeed nchi, tunafeed watoto wetu na tunafeed kabisa mfuko.
Tazama Mkulima kila Jumamosi saa 10:30
kwenye runinga ya taifa.
Mkulima, tuko hapa kwa ajili yako,
ambapo fursa na kilimo zinapatana.
Clothing worldwide. About 92 million each year. So a more environmentally friendly approach to fashion is urgently needed. One promising solution is the practice of upcycling. This is the creation of new fashion items using fabric from clothing that would otherwise be discarded. It's not a new idea. People in Japan's Tohoku region started doing essentially the same thing about 400 years ago. They reused good fabric taken from old clothes by weaving it to make new garments. Clothing made by this method is called sakiori. Sakiori originally referred to regular clothes worn every day. You could say it was the fabric of everyday life. People who had nothing clothed their families using just ingenuity and effort. Modern sakiori artisans use the technique to create items in a wide variety of designs and colors. And they have expanded beyond just clothing. In a recent development, collaborations with major apparel and footwear brands have given us products using sakiori fabric. A notable feature of this sakiori workshop is that it employs mostly people with disabilities. Each part of the process is performed by a specialist in that technique. The most rewarding thing is when I see a finished product that I wove part of myself. I love knowing that an item from a famous brand contains something that I've made. In Harajuku, Tokyo's center of youth fashion, there's a spot where anyone can try upcycling. The raw materials are all items discarded because they didn't sell or rejected for minor flaws. Upcycling is great fun for pros and amateurs alike. What did the designers have in mind? What was their brand story? When we upcycle, we're reinterpreting this to create something new that still contains the spirit of the original product. Here, an ordinary piece of sportswear has been upcycled into a cute dress by the addition of pink fabric. The material for the translucent lower part of this dress came from a plastic umbrella. Quite sophisticated designs can be made from scrap items. One workshop set out to promote upcycling using dress-up dolls. Participants brought their own fabric and learned how to craft it into new fashions for the dolls. I kept this dress my granddaughter wore when she was 2. We'll use it today. A doll's dress reuses only a tiny amount of the original material, but the goal is to show children how fun upcycling can be.
Okay.
With just a little skill and ingenuity, it turns out anyone can produce delightful items like these. It was quite tricky at first, but I managed to do it. I definitely want to try more of this. The organisers of the workshop have produced many kinds of events to promote upcycling, including fashion shows. Unwanted clothing transformed into fashionable new items. Japan, with its love of fashion and passion for crafts, has taken upcycling to its heart.
from the listed housing developments, select your preferred location and apply for a housing unit to begin your journey towards home ownership. Prices start from 640,000 Kenya shillings. Visit Boma Yangu at www.bomayangu.go.ke. Brought to you by Affordable Housing Board. Makao Bora, Jukumu Letu.
We are real people who give real care. Visit www.definiteassurance.com or email info@definiteassurance.com for more information, or contact 0708-247-247 or 0788-247-247. Definite Assurance. You are definitely covered. Je, uko nao?
Salah, but he still manages to retain possession. He's available to provide support. The attack, here comes Algeria flying down the flank. Abdelrahman Ziane sets the ball in motion, could be an opportunity, chipped into the center of the park. To be filling a bit of the eggs of his latest Zazi. Awkward there. How is that for a picturesque leap into the air? Pretty athletic here up here.
Back your favorite team as they battle for glory in the Total Energies CAF African Nations Championship 2024, right here on home soil.
Hesabu kwa ajili ya kusherekea fasili na asili ya soka barani Afrika, ligi za ndani na magwiji wasiotambulika.
Mangeni Alvin anaichanja ndani, uzuri David!
Ya CAF ya mataifa ya Afrika 2024 ni njia ya kuzindua kupanua mtandao wa wachezaji ulimwenguni. Timu itakayoshinda itazawadiwa dola za Marekani milioni 3.5 pamoja na kujivunia kulinyanyua kombe hilo. Pata manufaa zaidi kutoka kwa CHAN 2024 mubashara na kipute cha kipekee kwenye runinga ya KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
The land of Harambee, tunainuka pamoja.
Tanzania is ready, nguvu ni moja.
Pearl of Africa, welcome everyone.
Kuntu kabisa mpenzi mtazamaji, ni wakati mwingine mwafaka tunakongamana hapa tukufahamisha baadhi ya taarifa ambazo tumekuandalia kwenye chumba chetu cha habari. Natumai adhuri yako inakoendea siku hii ya Alhamisi ya tarehe 21 mwezi wa 8 mwaka 2025. Hujambo na karibu mtazamaji. Kumbuka unaweza fuatilia taarifa hizi moja kwa moja kwenye mtandao wetu wa kijamii, ukurasa wa Facebook @KBC Channel 1, kule mtandao wa X